Hey, I'm Kelly Gregory. I did my internship in Logan, Utah. I planned on doing it for Addo recovery with a family friend whose name is Tyler Patrick, although he was unable to offer me as many hours as I needed, so I also got to do several weeks of interning at the family place. Tyler Patrick works at Addo Recovery. They focus on sex addictions and they do therapy for individuals, couples, as well as group counseling, some with all the couples together, and some men's groups, as well as some women's groups. I chose to work with Tyler because I really admire him as a therapist. He's genuine and connects with people where they're at. He's vulnerable, so you come away feeling validated. That's the kind of therapist I want to be. Tyler has my dream job. I'll give you a little bit of backstory to explain this. With my first marriage, my husband was addicted to pornography. It resulted in a divorce, but even after the divorce, I was very confused and clueless. I was lost for 4 years. But eventually, I tried group therapy with other women who had been through similar things or were going through them at that time. The things I learned and the support of other women completely turned my life around. I was able to get back on my feet. With some healing, I opened my heart again and met Adam. We'd been married for 4 years. After that experience, I decided I needed to dedicate my education and my life to helping women who have been through similar circumstances. I want to reach out to those who need help. So this was an amazing opportunity to be able to work with Tyler and sit in on his women's groups. I was able to attend 2 every week. I mostly observed, took notes, shared my story, shared what I've learned, and absorbed everything Tyler taught. I tried to get to know the ladies and help them feel comfortable sharing with the group. I learned so much, and I'm excited to add to what Tyler taught me so I can be a successful therapist. I'm going to quickly talk about the different parts of betrayal trauma that we were able to focus on during the time I was with the women's groups. We covered self-compassion, self-care, boundaries, validation, attachment styles, learned optimism, vulnerability, and several more. It was wonderful to have this part of my internship focus on betrayal trauma because throughout my classes at BYUI, I was able to research betrayal trauma and pornography addiction. Those were the main things I focused my assignments on if I could choose a topic. For my practicum, I taught a few workshops on understanding those affected by pornography. I was able to take a class about pornography in the family, and I also chose betrayal trauma as the focus of my advocacy class assignments. So this internship, along with all those experiences in school, have really given me a solid foundation of knowledge to build upon. I'm really excited to keep learning as I continue to study and move into my future career. While contemplating another place I could do my internship, the family place kept coming into my mind. I had never been there before and knew very little about it. I actually heard about the facility through the Head Start program. I called and found they were accepting interns. After training, I started working with the Trauma Resiliency Project team. The head of the program is Vonda Jump Norman. She teaches social work classes at Utah State University and is extremely knowledgeable about trauma. It was an honor to work with her. Many of the families who utilize the services offered at the facility have been through multiple traumatic experiences. The classes help families learn how to take care of themselves with the support of others. I was able to help Vonda with several different projects during my internship. The first thing we started on was gathering resources for binders that were sent to pediatricians' offices. Pediatricians get asked several parenting questions. We did a binder for different age groups: teens, school-age children, and children from birth to age 5. We covered all sorts of parenting issues or questions that parents commonly have. If a parent asks a question that the doctor isn't knowledgeable on, he or she can offer a helpful printout from the binder. I was also able to go to a collaboration that Vonda is the director of. It was amazing to see dozens of business owners and managers come together from the community and talk about how they can better help the families in our area. I really enjoyed watching that and seeing that these leaders in our community really care and are willing to go to great lengths to protect and care for families. One of the educational classes that took place while I was interning is called Better Together. It was for children ages 6 through 11 and their parents. It is a series of 6 classes. We focused on a different theme each time. The classes were an hour and a half with dinner, a family activity, and then split groups with adults learning from Bonda and the children doing another activity, usually with an educational purpose. I was only able to attend 2 of these meetings, but I loved the experiences I had working with the families. I got to know them and teach them. The first one I attended was the science class. I taught families how to build their own stomp rockets out of household materials. This one was really fun because the families got to go outside and test them. They were extremely excited, especially the dads. I loved hearing all of the laughter and seeing all of their smiles. It was a very successful activity for family bonding. The second one was just as fun. We hired a music therapist that brought dozens of percussion instruments. She taught us all about what she does for her job and let us try some music therapy activities. We worked together as a group and also practiced leading others. It was a very loud night, with 30 drums being pounded at the same time, but it was extremely cool. Although I was finished with my hours before the remaining classes, I volunteered to create some handouts for the parents to take home after each class. They ended up being booklets full of activities to do at home that focused on the different themes of the classes. They were passed out to the families after each class with the hope that they would use the offered ideas to continue spending time together. Family time is one of the main things that helps them get through traumatic experiences and be more resilient. The science booklet I created had experiments to try out at home. For the music one, I did instructions on how to make homemade instruments. There were recipes for slime and Play-Doh along with sensory activities for the sensory-focused booklet. For physical development, I gave instructions for fun family games to help develop motor skills. It also included a list of the milestones for fine motor and gross motor movement. And lastly, the art booklet had ideas for multiple different art projects. With the rest of my time, I was able to kind of go off on my own and develop something that I am extremely interested in. The family place is always looking for resources to give families and workshops to teach. I have a passion for teaching others how to love themselves. I was able to develop a workbook that I call My Journey to Self-Love. It has several activities that can help someone come to know themselves better and accept themselves for who they are. Through it, I aim to help them to love and appreciate themselves, which will help them love others. I have really big ideas for this workbook, and all of the artwork is done by me, so I wasn't able to get the whole thing done. But I did finish about 1/4 of it, which ended up being about 40 pages. Bonda is offering suggestions, and hopefully portions of the workbook will be available to print from the resource page at the family place soon. I have also already taught 2 young women groups using some of this research and work. I developed an assessment of sorts to gauge what areas can be improved. The participant will mark the negative thoughts and beliefs they can relate to. The marked statements will then be transferred into 4 categories. The workbook will have a section addressing each category with mindful activities to improve thought processes and boost self-love. I put together several self-exploration activities to help discover their strengths. With these exercises, I hope they will feel grateful for what makes them a unique and valued individual. After they have explored what makes them who they are, they can sum up their findings by filling out this layout. It's designed to help them get a glimpse of themselves as a whole. Because coloring is a self-regulation activity, I also made coloring pages that have inspiring and uplifting quotes to ponder. Other topics the workbook will cover are cognitive behavior therapy, self-compassion practice, positive affirmations, discovering values, setting boundaries, avoiding toxic relationships, fostering an attitude of gratitude, the importance of self-care, learned optimism, vulnerability, and shame versus guilt. And that wraps up my internship. I had a lot of fun working hard and learning new things. If you're interested in an internship at the family place and are in Utah, you can call this number. Or if you're interested in interning for a therapist who focuses on sexual addiction and betrayal trauma, there are locations all over the country with Addo Recovery. You can visit their website or give them a call. Thanks for watching.